Welcome to the official Lakes International Comic Art Festival podcast. My name's Ian.
And my name's Nikki, bringing you the best in comics and graphic novels and updates from the festival.
Well, welcome to the Lakes International Comic Art Festival podcast, episode 99. My name is Ian.
And I'm Nikki.
And we are now chilled after a busy weekend a few weekends ago.
Yes.
For the Lakes International Comic Art Festival 2021.
Is that the official
held in
way
Kendal,
of saying it?
Cumbria.
It was indeed held in Kendal, Cumbria.
And it wasn't over wet.
It didn't rain too badly.
No.
There was a bit of dampness.
Yes.
But it wasn't anything. I mean, the Friday,
was nice.
The sun came out just to show what it could be like if you were here on the Friday. And then it went downhill a little bit. But it wasn't
okay.
bad.
It wasn't bad.
It's been worse.
It's been a lot worse. It's been a lot worse this weekend. What are you on about? So that was a couple of weeks ago now, and we're just going to today to spend a bit of time mulling over the weekend.
Oh, I always think of flax seeds, but that's milling.
Of what?
Don't.
Okay. What? I know. I'll have to live with this. Right. So the weekend starts on the Friday.
Yes.
As always.
Yes.
Where we do a bit of wandering, meandering.
We do annoy Chris.
Say hello to people.
We do say hello to people.
Because that's nice.
That is nice. What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm just waffling. So the evening is always the opener.
Yes.
I know. Before we talk about that, we
on.
did do something on the Friday.
Yeah.
We went to an exhibition.
Oh, we did.
Now, Martin Rowson.
Yeah.
His name's going to come up a lot. Yes. I feel over this discussion.
Yeah.
So he did they had the What a Fair Cup exhibition.
Yeah.
Political cartoons and comics of Martin Rowson.
Yeah.
What did you think?
It was bloody amazing.
It's not. We neither of us read newspapers, do we? So we don't really.
No, we don't read Private Eye or anything like that. So we don't see his stuff.
And I suppose sometimes when you look at some of work like this, you just gloss over it. But when you look back at some of them historically, there's a lot of meaning.
Oh
to
yeah,
them. A lot more than on the day they probably come out, I feel.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Well, it's a very good social history. I mean, we've been doing political cartoons since newspapers came about, so they've always been with us, and they're a really important part of our social commentary, because it's really saying what we are all thinking.
Yes.
That's what I think, and it holds them to account, which is what we need. We need something to hold them to account, and why not visually, which everyone can get.
But at the time, again, it just doesn't always click, like I say. It doesn't always...
Okay.
Because you've got different thoughts, you don't know exactly what's going on.
So I don't find that myself.
So I did.
So I just find it's a hard hitting in your face, yes, and I agree.
But then when you look back...
When you look back at it, like I say, it's a social history, so it's amazing.
A particular piece, wasn't there?
Yeah, which he actually brought up, didn't he, in his talk later on. And it was one that made us stop. And it really is incredibly poignant, sad, and all the rest of it.
Keep talking now, because I'm going to find the name of it. Explain it.
So what it's showing is an old veteran, basically, in a care home, isn't he? He's sitting there. It's around the COVID and the fact that on what day is it?
Was it VE Day?
VE Day. That... we're supposed to be venerating, respecting our elders, and here was the government waving a little flag whilst it just shows all these empty chairs of all these veterans, just their hats on, being carried out because the government did not protect them.
They died
our
in care
heroes
homes,
in the care homes during COVID, and you got these fat cats just waving their flags.
Saying they're supporting them, but realistically they couldn't care less.
No, exactly. Listen to it, look at what we're saying, look at what we're doing, and just everyone's dying. It was so sad. I
think we just both looked at it and stopped, didn't we? I think we looked at it separate times, actually, and we just both mesmerised by the visualisation of it. So what do you think it's called? The Banality of Evil. That's it. Search for that.
Yeah.
Because it is stunning.
Mm-hmm.
I find it interesting as well how obviously he frames a political character when they become important, such as Tony Blair or someone, and then that how he managed to keep that image the same every time.
Yeah,
that is clever.
That is 40 years of doing it, and that's what that is.
And again, you look back over the history, and every time they are that character. And they're so different. Mm-hmm. You know, Trump and Boris, and they're all so different.
Well, those two are not quite interchangeable in their whole manner. Let's be honest.
And it certainly made me think twice about my thoughts on political cartoons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You sort of brush it off a little bit.
No, see, I don't, and I've never done that. But then, I don't know, I've looked at them through history more. I'm more interested in how they have told the real narrative of what's going on through history. So I've always been very interested in them. So for me, no. But that's good. We want different views of looking at them. It's interesting.
So, just to follow on from that, we finally see Martin in the flesh in the evening show we went to.
I instantly fell in love with him, to be fair.
I don't know what to say to that. So,
I was like, I like you.
So they did the Battle of the Toons show, which essentially it's 8 creators taking on a character each.
Yep.
And then
because the balloon's going down and you've got to get rid of the dead weight.
So they're fighting to save their creation. Can you remember what each person had now? I bet.
Just go with who won.
So, speaking of Martin, that leads us to the evening event.
Yes.
The Battle of the Toons.
Indeed.
Which sees 8 creators taking specific characters, talking about them, trying to save them from being chucked out of the
because the balloon's going down and they got to get rid of the dead weight.
And they had a balloon set up on stage.
They did, didn't they? I thought it was quite cute.
So we
Yoms wasn't there to start with.
No. What happened?
The trains happened. Because didn't we just experience a really bad storm?
There was a storm, but we also heard of a couple of people struggling to get home. Mike, was he struggling?
The M6 was down.
The M6 was down.
Again, it's been down like every day so far. So that was causing problems. The trains out of Liverpool were bad, which is why Yoms was not there. So that came in. He came in.
And demanded a pint almost. He wanted
literally demanded a pint, then ended up with 2. It was amazing.
So in there with Yoms was Kate Charlesworth, Lou McKeever, Martin Rosen, Graham Jury, and also Omar Jackson.
Yep.
And Tom Richmond and Bill Morrison were also taking part live from the US of A.
Yes, they were for NCS.
Yes. So they all, as I say, took part discussing their particular character.
Yep.
And then the audience were given the
we got to vote, and people
vote.
Online got to vote.
There
was
out.
Apping things.
Was it you voted who you wanted out, but some people got this mixed up and thought they were voting who they wanted to save?
Yes.
So
you voted. Yes.
I can't remember who it was, but someone's partner was voting to save when actually they were kicking him out.
Yeah. That happened.
So it was very entertaining. The guys in the US obviously took a bit more dramatic approach, dressing up as
Batman. That was amusing. Just his answer for everything was, "I'm Batman."
So that was intriguing. But the guys on stage, bravo.
Yes,
because it's not easy.
It isn't, because you've got to be funny. You're winning the audience over.
Yeah, and that's basically what it is. It doesn't really matter what character they're talking about.
Which I think proves it why who won, really, because who actually has heard that much about the winner?
Which is?
Crazy Cat.
I haven't heard anything about said Crazy Cat.
No, but I mean, we should have, really.
And of course, the winner was
Martin Wilson.
He's a stage person, isn't he?
He's amazing.
He knows how to talk.
He won us all over, didn't he, really? And he kept winning us all over, so yeah.
And he also he took the mick out of the event as well in some ways. He knew when it may have been dragging on a bit, or when we just he channeled everything to perfection.
Was it him that said it was like being at a school panto at the wrong school?
Also had Tim Farren.
Yes,
there as well.
Got to roll out the Tim.
Got to roll out Tim to a Kendall event. But again, he's always entertaining.
He's lovely.
Yeah, he probably forgets each year he talks about Fizz, but
is it? He's very much at the altar of Fizz.
But he is always entertaining. It's good to see. Also drawing was Stephen Luke McGarry, and Boulay was drawing live on stage.
Yeah.
Who also won the Sergio Aragonis International Award for Excellence this year.
Yeah, his work is amazing.
It is stunning.
Yeah.
It's how you put that much detail.
And he loves Discworld and Ghibli, so what's not to love? The man's a genius.
So overall, a fun night.
It was very fun, yeah.
Now, I'm going to be a bit critical.
Shame on you right now.
They included NCS Fest over in the States, which is brilliant, but they had awards for the NCS Fest, which I didn't feel were relevant.
Okay. That's probably part of the deal, though.
Possibly, but it just wasn't, because we don't know really anything about it.
Okay.
Over here, it didn't feel
so maybe there
linked.
needs to be a bit more information in.
Maybe so. Maybe there needs to be a bit more of a link up throughout the year.
Yeah.
That's my only negative about the event.
There you go then.
So, but I think we should be critical where it matters. There we go. Thanks for laughing. Right, then.
Yes.
The Saturday.
Yes. It was raining.
It was, but it wasn't over.
Well.
Bad?
No.
No? You're making me question it now. I don't think it was.
It wasn't over bad, but it was definitely raining.
So we sort of wandered in slightly later than usual, didn't we?
We did.
Because we always start off with the live draw.
Yes.
Which is often actually a little bit earlier, I feel. But this year it was 11:45, so that's what we decided to wander in for. Mm-hmm. This year they had Manuel Fior, Jules Moreau, Boulay, of course, and Lucia Lamova, hosted by Alex Fitch, and this was a live draw of the art of creation.
Which was interesting, because they mainly drew in one piece, didn't they? So they all brought their own talents and stuff to it. It was like a dream. It was a dream-like thing. It was surreal. But it was kind of cool.
They all had some sort of a creature.
Yeah. Yeah, and they all did it in their different styles, but they all linked together, which was interesting to watch.
It was, and that was all done on paper as well, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Bar one, who was a digital creator, which would have been...
Boulay was doing the characters from the picture on a dinosaur.
That's right. He sort of took a comedic effect of them, which was
so he took it was beautiful to see.
So someone created essentially Mother Earth, a naked Mother Earth.
Yeah, and a deer man with antlers.
But overall, again, just art was amazing, and it's good to see live draws.
Yeah, always good to see.
Always good. We then took a bit of a lunch break.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was raining. Remember, we had a Greggs and stood under the thing, watching the rain.
No, it was raining.
Yeah.
But not as bad as it has previously.
No.
But yes, it did rain.
Let's see.
That was then followed by the Viz event, which we've never been to a Viz draw before. They've had them before previous years, but we've...
Yeah, it was a Viz draw and talk, wasn't it?
It was. So it was a history of Viz in some ways.
Yeah.
And this was hosted by Miles Ross, who in his own right was exceptionally interesting.
He was, wasn't he?
He's done a lot of work producing, directing, BBC, Channel 4 and so forth. And so you heard them discussing Viz on TV and how that was going to be, or was in some places.
Yeah.
The failure of the Fat Slags on the movie.
The film, yeah.
And it was really interesting just to hear them talk openly about the history, not necessarily the direct history of Viz, but just parts of
and
the creation.
When Harry Enfield and that was recording, wasn't he? He then did Peter Cook's thing when Peter Cook left the room. So it was like you heard all these little inside info
type of thing you'd see
stories.
Here in a pub.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And they did some drawing as well with characters being shouted out.
Yep.
Which was fun. You got to win a pen.
You did indeed.
And you got actual art.
Yes, you got 2 drawings at the end of it.
Which was amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. That was really, really interesting. We then had a wander for the rest of the day and prepared for the evening.
We did prepare for the evening.
Which means coming back and putting a bit of slap on.
You were looking particularly lovely with your bit of slap on.
We took Mike for a drink at the
blind bus
driver. Shh, it's not so much a secret.
It's a secret. And because we went before everyone else. It was just us.
It was just us.
It was so nice.
So yeah, we had a drink, then we went to the brewery.
Yeah.
They had events on, which we've not talked about yet. We'll talk about shortly is COVID and the effect on the festival.
Yeah.
But they had events on, but it wasn't in Ruskin's, which is obviously too small. It was all.
It was downstairs in the
brewery arts centre
in the mall.
So we sort of didn't go there. We just sat in the pub.
We did. We sat upstairs, didn't we? And chatted.
With Mike Scrollos. Chris came along.
Yep.
Martin.
Yep.
Gustavo.
Yep.
His missus.
Yep.
It was just a nice,
it was lovely,
chilled evening.
Yeah, it went really fast.
It was good.
Because I decided we should walk home.
Yeah, that was a good idea.
That was a really bad idea.
No, that was a very bad idea.
It was a bad idea. We both needed a wee about halfway. It was a bad idea.
Obviously, some of them continued a little bit later, which I'm going to play some interviews now that we did actually on the Sunday. One of them includes a particularly hungover Gustavo.
He was a little bit.
He'd had a few too many shandies the night before. We also interviewed Joe Latham, Martin Simpson, Matt Simmons, Norm Konyu, Gustavo, as I said, and Daniel Christie, who was a very interesting character at the end. That was intrigued to hear more.
Yes, very much so.
About the work that he's doing. So we'll play these.
Yeah.
Let them enjoy them, and we'll come back to talk about the Sunday afterwards.
Got to extend the legs. There's no space under my table.
I was going to say I'd just sit down.
I'm going to sit.
We can lower ourselves. Well, you don't have to lower yourself.
I'm just short.
You're just short in
I've just
general.
got so much crap under my table. I can't. I've got my little leg space.
What have you got under your table?
As long as you
That's a question we need to ask
flexing
everyone. What have you got under your table?
Boxes.
Just boxes.
Yeah, just so many boxes. Like I think there's about 15 boxes under there. Rach wouldn't let me not bring stuff. She was like, "Look, you're going on your own. Just fill the car."
It's valid. But is there food and drink under there?
I've got like 2 snack bars and 2 bags of crisps.
Okay.
So that doesn't fill a box, you know.
No.
So we'll better introduce you since we're rambling already on this audio. We're with Joe Latham. How are you doing?
Yeah, all right, yeah.
So first con back after a certain virus struck.
Yeah, 2 years.
How's it been?
Surprisingly excellent.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I was anxious beforehand. Obviously, with the usual set of things that come before a show anyway, like will people turn up? Are people going to suddenly go off me and go off my work? And then you compound that with COVID. You're like, are people going to be brave enough to leave the house?
Yeah.
Are people going to still want to like talk to me? Like, what's going to be the deal with the mask? So people going to
So you wear a mask? Don't you wear a mask? Still don't know the answer to that.
I don't know. Like my glasses steam up constantly when I wear a mask. But it's an easy thing for me to do is put a mask on. So I don't want to not wear it, but I don't want to wear it all the time. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I just
we just get on with it.
Oh, yeah. That is your thing, isn't it?
Yeah, just get on with it.
I don't feel like you don't know other people's circumstances, so I try to gauge it on a case-by-case basis. So if I need to put a mask on, I can do it.
Yeah, I feel that's the same if I walk into a shop. Are the majority wearing a mask? I'll put a mask on.
Sure. I think if I go to shops, my default is mask. Yeah, and then if I don't know. I don't think I've been into a shop without a mask on actually. Like ever. Yeah. I mean, not ever. Before COVID, I think.
Where I work, I do, but only because I know everyone in there.
Yeah.
Which is my weird logic on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not. I don't think that's foolproof.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, comics.
Yeah, sorry, sidetracked.
Since we last saw you at Thoughts Bubble, you've brought out now 2 volumes of Haru. Because volume 2 wasn't out, I don't think, or was it?
That's correct. No, it was not. No, so I did a Kickstarter for volume 2 last autumn, around the time of this convention, because I hadn't applied for the convention last year because my baby boy was about. Like I knew my baby boy was coming, so I thought
better focus on that.
Yeah, not the best time to
prioritise.
Be leaving the house for more than half an hour to the shop. So I ran a Kickstarter for part 2 last year, and that was really successful.
And Nikki's name's in the book, so you know.
It is, yeah. Well, because Nikki's awesome. So. And you're awesome as well.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
No, you're both awesome, yeah. So this is the first time that the part 2's been at a show and been publicly received by people, and this is also the launch of part 3, which kind of caught me by surprise recently, because I think the way the past year's been going, not just because of pandemic stuff, but newborn child plus pandemic, not being able to see friends and family through the really difficult, high maintenance months. Yeah, it was really tough. And I was still making websites at the start of the pandemic as well, and it was hell. Like it was actual hell, and like it drove me to a point of I'm not quite sure the best way to word it without sounding mean, because the website and graphic design business that I built up sufficed a very important part of my life. It meant that I could pay bills and buy food and wear clothes and things. But, basically. But it got to a point when my boy was not sleeping very much, because they don't when they're new.
No.
And I'd have to wait until about 8 o'clock in the evening for my boy to go to bed, and my wife would go to bed at the same time. And I'd go and do like 3 hours work on the laptop in the spare room until he woke up screaming, and then I'd have to go and comfort him, and then that's it for the night. Like I'd maybe be on and off comforting him all night, and I was like, this is the worst thing I'm doing in my life, is the website stuff, because if I've got 3 hours to spare, I don't want to spend it making something that I resent. Like I was just starting to really, really grow disdainful for it, and I wasn't having any time to draw comics.
Yeah.
So I stopped making websites.
Okay.
Like I just completely packed it in. I had a business partner, and I essentially passed it all over to him, and that's how I was able to do book 3. It took me a little while of writing, because the story's become quite big now, and it's intended to be 3 graphic novels of around 240 pages each, and it's currently released as 3 individual chapters of around 45 pages each. So we're halfway through the first graphic novel.
That's a lot. Do you feel COVID changed the style or the story in any way? Or was it mapped out so far in advance it didn't really affect it?
I'm not sure if COVID had a direct influence on it, but I would say that the circumstances around like the middle that I was just describing, it kind of forced me to reevaluate the scope and my personal connection to the story, because I think the story itself has been through so many different variations in the past few years that it was kind of becoming something that wasn't me anymore.
Okay.
Because I had previously been working on it with, I had a previous agent based in the States who suggested I convert this concept for a graphic novel idea into a children's picture book idea. So I put together a mock-up, she took it to a publisher, they said they loved it, but could it be a graphic novel? And it's like, well, it's meant to be, that was the whole bloody point. So then I gave them like the graphic novel idea, and they were like, yeah, we love it, but can you do this and this? And then they sat on it for a year before rejecting it, and at that point my agent kind of went cold on me, and she was still responding, she's still nice, just too busy, and said that she couldn't ever give me any feedback on anything I ever did or sent to her, and it devastated my confidence. Yeah, and I didn't know what my place was in comics anymore. I thought this was my path to making it an active part of my career, and then all of a sudden it felt like the door I could see a little glimmer of light through was suddenly getting closed in my face. And it turns out it wasn't really a door. I've had conversations with publishers since, and I don't think publishers necessarily like agents. Like I think some of them do, like have decent relationships with them, but I think agents can sometimes muddy up the contracts between comic artists and writers, and so it's just been a non-stop learning experience, honestly. And then at that point, I was like, you know what, this is my bloody baby. I want to. I'm taking it into my own hands and make the story increasingly personal. Not that it's biopic or anything like that, but there's far more of my personality in it now than there ever was, and that goes right through all 3 graphic novels, and they're all written. I mean,
written, ready for adjusting as required. Right.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, play that one by ear, really, because I think it's in a good situation at the moment, because I don't necessarily need a publisher the way things are going. Like, I can keep doing it like this, and it'll be still pretty satisfying and enriching.
Well, we look forward to part 4. We've got part 3 to read.
I haven't.
Not looked at it yet, but
Oh, that's exciting. You have to let me know what you think. It's getting real now as well. So,
if people want to grab that and they're not going to conventions, where's your website?
It's not going to be available online for a little while, I'm afraid. So you can get part 2 from my website. But part 3, I'm going to run a Kickstarter, I think, for part 4 and give people a chance to pick up part 2 at the same time.
That's a good idea.
So it's a bit more of an incentive to sort of double dip then. And that would be towards the end of this year.
Okay.
But I do have a website, and it is joelatham.illustration.co.uk.
As he checks.
Yes, it is.
I'm always asking you, and I'm like, what's your website? I can't remember.
Well, because it used to be different. It used to be a different one. I'm not going to say it out loud because it will muddy the waters. But
basically, creators crap at PR.
Yeah. It's hard. That's the hardest bit of putting yourself out there, is being proud.
That's what I've got news.
I get paid 0. Right, thank you for your time, Joe, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Sorry for rambling.
No, that's quite all right.
And despair. I almost want to see what that smells like.
It's like little cubicles, like benefits, housing. It's like.
So basically you go there, we take some money off you.
Yeah.
We throw you on the street. But you tell us about your comic.
Brilliant.
Well, that's how
we're
it
so
works.
desperate to do that. We would probably do it.
So you've got a comic coming. I'm recording.
Oh, he's recording.
Yeah. So we'll see about. You've got a comic coming out, which has been coming out for quite a while.
It is the long-delayed Nord. It's called Nord. Yes.
You can see pictures on Twitter.
There are some pictures. There are some things because it's half.
It will actually be a comic.
It's over half finished, so there is some finished parts of it. But it's a long slog to get Nord done because it's a really highly detailed, time-consuming, painted, cover-to-cover book. Some of the like big vistas. It's like it's a big job.
It's just a good way to abuse you, basically.
My back's gone, as you know, so it's partly to blame. Yeah.
But in the meantime, you've done an art book.
Yeah, I've done an art book. I've done an art book. Last 3 years, it's a selection of freelance illustration I've done and some other comic projects I've done, because even though Nord is being delayed a lot, I have done quite a bit of comic book stuff. I did something for the Tales from the Quarantine thing, Toxic Avenger thing, and Scroll, of course, which is quite a big job actually, because I did a long story in the cover, and I'm currently also doing the next, my stuff for the next issue of Scroll as well. So that did eat into things last year, which is why Nord is even more delayed than it should have been.
So just for example, because your work does look highly detailed.
Yeah.
We're looking at Judge Dredd. Pick there right in front of me. How long would that take for you to do?
Like 3 or 4 days.
So
a page.
Constant.
Yeah, pretty much.
Six hours a day or something?
With all the fiddling. Listen, it's a very tricky question, this, Ian, because I never ever really sit down on one image and work from beginning to end. Because I work freelance as an illustrator, there's 2 or 3 or 4 things all going on at the same time. I break it up. But I figured it out that a page of comics, a fairly dense page of comics, takes me a week of full-time work at the moment, which is insane. It's complete. Yeah. I told Gustavo Vargas that, and he was just like, "What are you doing?"
There's a reason he's put out multiples.
Yeah, well, that's it. If you've got a lovely sort of loose, quick style like Gustavo, you can really punch stuff out. But
you can see the detail in it, though. That's the thing. It
hopefully, you can see that. It's obvious why it takes time.
Yeah.
People are really. I know a lot of people have been asking about Nord, and I get DMs and tweets about it a lot. But everyone's quite understanding. I think. I don't feel like I'm being George R.R. Martin. People are, where is my book?
We feel it will come out at some point. Well, in regards to his ain't coming out.
Well, I can say this or not, but I'm going to say it anyway. Soaring Penguin have agreed to publish, so they want it by spring. That's the deadline. That's doable. It's completely doable. Like I say, it's over halfway finished, and so I'm hoping it might even come out next year. I mean, who knows? This time next year,
still the night.
Yeah. Well. It depends if work comes in and I need the money. And
that's the
problem.
Priority.
There's very little money in this sort of thing, as you know.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to it.
Yeah. Well, I hope it lives up to what some people think it is, because it's an odd book. It's as much picture book as it is a graphic novel. So it's a little bit unusual. It's a square format as well.
Okay.
Unusual stuff. So. You'll just have to see. It's all a risk, isn't it? You've got a risk.
You've got a bit different, or what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
And if anyone's not getting to conventions this year, where can they get the stuff?
Best place to go is SIMOillustration.com. So that's SIMO illustration.com. And you can get it on the shop and Twitter and everything's there. Yeah, easiest place.
Thanks for your time. Enjoy the rest of it.
Pleasure, Ian. Thanks very much.
So what are you used to? Me stripping?
Everyone.
Everyone's just been insatiable. So we're here with Matt Simmons, with Chris walking by. Hello. So, we've discussed your work on the podcast. Obviously, we've talked about Bastard Galaxia in the past, but we're going to ignore that.
Okay.
Let's talk about Mukbang. What would you class it as, first of all, in a comic book? What genre would you put this book within?
I would say not erotic. It's not pornographic sci-fi hangout book.
Hangout book. Yeah. There's definitely things hanging out in the book. Okay, so what made you want to create such a diverse range of imagery?
Well, it all came when I was in New York buying indie comics, and it was the first time in ages I bought indie comics, like not directly from a creator who'd pitched it or something like that. It was all just based on having a quick flip through, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll buy that, I'll give this a chance. And it made me think, what is it about each of these comics that made me take a chance on it? So I made a list of all the things that I would just like to see on opening a book that would make me go, oh yeah, I'll buy that. And I wanted to put one of those things on every single page. Now, some of those things did end up being pretty obscene, and it was just unavoidable. But I just thought, to be true to the concept, I had to face up to that and do it.
I thought it was hilarious.
Thank you.
I really did. And I think, obviously, not everyone's going to get what you're trying to do there, and some people may be offended in some way, and if they are, sod them. But yeah, I do think sometimes people hold back a bit, because obviously comics is such a form where you can do whatever you want that you couldn't do in TV, you couldn't do in any other form of media. So to see something so perverse and ridiculous and funny is just enjoyable. I think that's probably the best word, it's just enjoyable. What's your other than saying naughty boy?
Basically all I think of, naughty.
Yeah,
naughty boy.
I'm sorry.
But it is funny.
It is funny. And you were saying yesterday as well, you've got an aunt who wants to buy a copy?
Yeah, my aunt has ordered a copy, and I've yet to send it off, and I really don't know what to do about it.
I was thinking about this yesterday. Put censored stickers over all the bits.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
That's a good idea. Actually. I'll have to go through do a heavy censorship run.
What's the feedback been generally then?
It's been incredibly positive. I've been really surprised. And so I don't feel that bad anymore, because I realised everyone's a bit of a pervert, really, and they like it.
And they like it.
Yeah. So it's given me a bit of courage to just go. Yeah, I can do whatever. Maybe it's going to my head, but I'm just like, yeah, I can do whatever I want.
Do it. Well, actually, there's some things maybe we don't cross the line on, but yeah. No, well, I really enjoy it. I must admit.
Thank you.
Nicky enjoyed it. We actually picked it up from the local Lancaster comic shop.
Yes, he actually went in and asked for it
supporting
specifically.
Oh, nice. Yeah, First Stage Comics.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just nice to see someone take a bit of risk in the work. So well done. If people are interested in a copy, where can they get it from?
They can go to my online store.
Yeah.
It's mattsimmonscomics.bigcartel.com.
Right, go there, grab a copy. Don't show your mum.
Yeah.
Don't show your kids.
Yeah.
The world's a good place.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And we'll let you get back, because I think you might have a sale of your naughty comic in a minute.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Go sell a naughty comic.
Thanks very
Thank you,
much.
mate.
Much appreciated.
We're here today with Norm Konyu. Is that pronounced correctly?
Absolutely.
Excellent. I can read.
Good start.
I've seen a lot of your work, I think I mentioned yesterday, just online, and it pops out to me as so different to other people's work. It's just gorgeous. I mean, we've got a print just because, again, it just stands out.
Thank you.
Where did the style come from then? Is it just how you've always drawn, or?
Not specifically. It's funny, I just did a talk at the University of Hertfordshire about exactly this topic. And I'm an animator by trade. Okay. And so for years, I've been working in other people's styles. I've been Cartoon Network for years doing publicity stuff, so I have to do something that looks like Powerpuff Girls or Dexter's Lab or whatever. And when I finally got the idea for this, I had no idea what my own stuff looked like. I've been doing other people's stuff for ages, but I did know I like vectors. I love vectors, drawing in vectors, but they can look a bit harsh and unforgiving and too cartoony if you're trying to tell a serious story with them. So I started working with pumping in textures with Photoshop over the vector artwork. And it took a while to establish my own style. Now it comes naturally to me, but at the beginning it was really, what am I doing here? For a lot of stuff ended up in the digital waste bin. Now I think I've found where I'm at.
I think it just stands out, like I say. That's the best we can say about it. It's gorgeous. Your book, The Junction, then, tell us a bit about...
it's a mystery, really, with a bit, maybe you could say it's supernatural in there.
Okay.
And basically the story is an 11-year-old boy. He's gone missing, and he turns up on his uncle's doorstep 12 years later, and he's exactly the same age still. But he's quiet, he's withdrawn, no one knows where he's been, how he's been able to retain his youth. And so basically it's the mystery being unraveled to discover where he's been.
And that's been picked up with Titan Comics?
It's been picked up by Titan for the spring. They're going to do a hardcover, which is fantastic. And it's one of those strange little stories of being in the right place at the right time, because I pitched this to different publishers. Got that white noise silence back, that many people might know. And they contacted me because one of my Kickstarter backers had a new neighbor, and the new neighbor was the commissioning editor for Titan Comics.
Seriously,
that's
amazing.
So it's a weird way to get it, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Hell yeah.
And also, it's being worked on in Hollywood. Where I can't say anything. There are those dreaded NDAs, but someone is working it up to pitch it around and see if something will come of that. I know the chances are minuscule, but the chances are there. I didn't have those chances a while ago.
Door, isn't it? That's which how many people could say that?
I'm exceptionally happy because this is the first comic I've done since I was in secondary school. So
people are going to hate you for that.
Okay. I'm used to being a hate figure. So.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I mean, we all, at the end of the day, creators just want to make money. And we know, realistically, that's not possible unless you start getting your foot in the door, isn't it?
I've broken even.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah, but so few make serious money out of it. It's good to see that there's a chance that something may come.
Chances, yes. We'll see.
Better chance than most.
Yeah, I chose a secondary sideline that makes less money than animation, so congratulations to me.
So, in animation then, do you transport what into the comics? Were you actually creating the animation then, or storyboards?
A mixture of things, mainly for places like, I work for places like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon on a freelance basis. So when they were publicizing something or at a competition and they needed animation from SpongeBob that didn't exist, or from another show that didn't exist, I was one of the people they call in to build the characters in Flash, as it was called at the time, because everything's on a budget and a tight schedule, so do it cheaply and quickly as possible. So I was doing a lot of that, doing design work, worked on movies, TV series, commercials. Whoever will employ me, I'm happy to work for. Recently, it's been apps. So so I have an American client I work for most of the time now that does apps, and that's what I'm doing. So and it's worked out well in the pandemic. I get to work on my own because they're in the States. There's no commuting.
Well, best of luck then with the future proposition, and good luck with the hardback release as well. So that's going to get out to so many more people.
Well, I hope so. That's the main thing.
If someone wants to buy it now, where can you get it? You've got a website?
I do have a website right now. I haven't got any books for sale on the website just because I wasn't sure I was going to have enough stock, because Titan have been good enough to say I can sell off the last of my self-published books, but I can't print anymore, obviously. So I've taken it off the website just for a while, but after Thought Bubble, if there's any copies left, I'll be putting it back on, and my website is mooseboy.co.uk. That's reflecting my Canadianism there.
Well, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thank you for swinging by. Cheers. And buying a print.
Ups and downs.
What are you feeling? Sorry, what?
Feelings.
Too much alcohol, is it? Too much alcohol? No. I'm recording this, by the way, so...
I don't drink, so... Not my thing. No? Yeah. No, there was the last one that we had that tequila. And the thing is, the chap that serves the alcohol treats you like he's your best friend, so I'm going to fix you well. And they were like, whoa!
And then take your pennies.
Yeah.
He's not that good a friend.
Yeah. No, right now he's checking. He's looking at people walking slowly. So, yeah.
Obviously, you've got a beautiful range of comics out.
Thank you so much.
But I want to talk about your sketchbook.
Yes.
Because that, to me, it just brings up so much childish joy and pleasure. So it's called Escape to the 80s, but it is basically centered around He-Man.
Yeah.
For the majority, it's a bit of Thundercats.
It's He-Man and Thundercats, basically. Yeah.
So is this something you grew up watching back in the day?
Yes.
You don't look old enough.
Yeah. No, the thing is, He-Man is more the toys than the cartoon. They're my favorite toy ever. Yeah. So and that's more like my comfort zone, because sometimes you want to come up with new ideas. Should I do this for social media? Should I do this drawing, this sketch? Maybe a superhero, maybe one of my characters. But this is more like really comfortable zone. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start making Master of the Universe. If anybody, some people might know Skeletor and He-Man, but all the others, I don't care. I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to draw them. And I don't know, most of them people know them. So
if you've seen the character, you know.
Yeah, I was
Age.
amazed. Yeah, and it was just me having fun, and actually it was just to put it on social media and having fun. And I wanted to bring something new, but I was thinking maybe another sketch with my regular sketches. And Nick Prolix actually told me, but you have a lot of that, and there's a lot of people following that, and they like it. And I said, all right. Yeah, and that's how I created the book.
So we've got a sketchbook prior to the book, which I love.
I know.
Have you seen the new animation, mate?
Yes.
And thoughts?
I like it. I like it. I mean, there's two new.
There's another one.
There's one that is more cartoony. I haven't seen it.
No, let's not bother.
Yeah. I think it's for younger kids, something like that, which is fine. I'm not the kind of people that say they destroy my childhood. No, it's there. I can watch that. But I actually liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's well done. Yeah.
I think we need to wait to see the full story to make full judgment on it before.
For example, that's what I like a lot more about the toys, because they were a bit, I don't know, funny, silly in the cartoon.
Yeah.
But the toys had that really weird potential that they were more serious. The Skeletor wasn't stupid for me. He was like evil and powerful.
Yes.
Because in the cartoon, he always loses.
That's a good impression.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You should have put yourself forward.
I spent 2 weeks in front of a mirror.
So it's brilliant. So what have your plans now for the future of comics? You've got more work coming out?
Yes.
I assume you have. Obviously, you've got the Pete Dan Abnett.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that, because that's such a lovely guy.
We finished the first season of Creta. Second season of Creta, we're still working on that. But the seventh book of Creta was released by the end of September. Again, digitally, again, free for anybody that wants to read it. It's creta.com/comic, which is really easy. And it's going to run 6 issues more. So it's going to be September, October, November, December, January, and February. That's right? Yeah. And that's it. And it's a lot more fun, because the first season was more like creating the basis for the world building, and this is more the world is already built, let's have fun. So it's more hectic, there's more action, I'm having a lot more fun than the previous one, which was already cool. So yeah, I'm working on that, and there's my latest Kickstarter is going to be launched next week, Pilcuyo. It's the end of the Altiplano saga, and hopefully it's going to be well received.
Well, let's look at your previous ones. I'm sure you won't have an issue.
I don't know. I haven't mislaunched it, so I don't know if I jinx it or not, because last time I just get started, all of a sudden I have a pre-launch page for the first time, so we will see. But yeah, I'm very, very excited about this book. And yeah, the Kickstarter is going to run from October to November, a week after Thought Bubble, and the book should be released around April or May, something like that. Yeah.
Well, best of luck with that.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, email. I'll have a copy, please. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're recorded, but we're in for it.
We're live.
So, Daniel Christie.
Yes.
Right, yes. Tell us a bit about your work, first of all, before we go into the work you've been doing on the anthology there.
Well, I'm a rapper, but I'm an artist. I do a bit of everything. I do a bit of animation, because I'm trying to promote the book. And I make music, I write film scripts, I've done a bit of theatre before. But I basically made a graphic novel, not just because of representation, but because I know that there's a lot of kids out there, they need to know certain things, and sometimes I can't say it lyrically, so I put it into graphic novels. So like my work is very much, it's not personal, but it's kind of personal. All my work's kind of based on real life scenarios, but then I also put a bit of, I do what the mangas do, you know how the Japanese and the Korean, they put their culture into it in clever ways. I did the same with my thing. So basically I make like, my thing is like black manga, but it's not really like, when I say black, it's like, it's still accessible. It's about an environment that is predominantly black, but it's in England. And I try and make moral things, like the main theme in Eagle Ras is about the elder generation being aware of why kids get mixed up in gangs, showing the kids you could join a gang if you want, but this is what might happen. So I do that in schools as well, in art therapy as well. So even though on the surface my thing is like a shoot 'em up, bang bang vigilante thing, there's messages. So the clever ones will be able to read between the lines. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
That's so intriguing. To be fair, I want to see more of that, because that's. I'm going to find out details about your website. I'm assuming you've got a website.
No, I do. I literally sell my books on Instagram.
Okay.
And just hand to hand. This is my first table I've ever had in my life.
How have you found it?
It's good. People have been really good, and I haven't sold. I've got 3 or 4 books left, but I came with a lot more, and people have been genuinely. Like the thing I said last night on the mic, I could come all the way to Cumbria, and I know what I look like. And it's like people. I was excited to come, but it's like, maybe everybody's racist. It's bollocks. It's something
It's not. People aren't generally. I know there are racists out there.
Yeah.
Generally, people are not.
But it's like it's a stigma that you have in your head when you go out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I've been proven completely wrong. I've had a wonderful weekend.
Good.
Do you know what I mean?
Good.
So, it's like, as much as, like, my thing, I know that I'm surrounded by certain people that might not know where I come from, but it's me breaking barriers. But barriers are being broken the other way as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my thing as a holistic spiritual person going through a journey of growth and development. I don't have to be Mr. Rude Boy all the time. I can come and just enjoy a nice weekend with similar-minded folks.
Absolutely.
Everyone here just wants to have fun, don't they?
Yeah.
They want to sell some books and just have a laugh.
Especially girls like Cindy Lopez. She said, girls just want to have fun. That's all they really want.
He started singing for us. So you've been involved through the breakthrough.
Yeah, so
just tell us a bit about that and how you got involved.
Do you know who Bobby Joseph is?
Yes.
So I went in.
In fact, we interviewed Bobby. He's such a lovely guy.
Yeah.
But he's lovely, and basically, when I was developing Eagle Ras, he's like a vigilante character with dreadlocks, and he's done Scotland Yard. Bobby did.
Yeah.
So I remember thinking, I'm the first man on the planet to do a dreadlock superhero. And then I went into Mega City Comics by, the DeLucas are in Camden, and I'm flicking around. I got my ex-girlfriend with me, and I saw this Rasta guy on the cover, and I was like, no! But I had to buy it.
Yep.
And I realised he looks a bit like my character, but it's totally different.
Yeah.
But I had to find out who did it. Do you know what I mean? I found out, I met Bobby on like that, I found him, and he sent me a link to enter this competition. And he already kind of liked what I was doing because I already had Eagle Ras. So I sent some of my pictures to the guys, and they loved it. And I won the competition to be in the Lycaf Comic Art Festival competition. And then I've got to put a story in this breakthrough thing with Michael, Abigail, Hannah, and and me.
Yeah.
And basically, my mum had died the year before, so I got to I used to tell my mum all the time, write your story, because she had mental health, paranoid schizophrenia, depression, and I used to visit her sometimes in these mental health things, and it was like, there's no artistic thing for them to do. So, and I used to get angry about it, so I used to encourage my mum to get back it, because my mum taught me how to draw. She never bought me a telly, she didn't get brainwashed. So I've been drawing since I was a child. But she passed away, and unfortunately she did not chronicle her experience, but I remember some of the things she told me. So I managed to use that to immortalise her a little bit. You know what I mean? And even in my book there's a dedication to her in the front. You know what I mean? But that I get to share a mixture of my story and her story. And that's what I'm about. Like, I'm not like trying to be the black guy that makes comics, but I like to be able to preserve this perspective. Because it's my perspective.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's important for everyone to
exactly.
have the opportunity to do the same.
I've met LGBT people that I wouldn't normally meet. I've met, you know what I mean? And everybody's all giving their own perspective and immortalising the experience that we're going through as human beings at the moment. And I'm a rapper as well. It's not everything I can actually put into lyrics. Luckily, I have the gift of drawing. So I managed to articulate another thought in that way. So I get to exist beyond being alive. That's all it's really, you know what I mean? And get to give my perspective and give my point of view. And even if people disagree with it, I don't have to hear it, because you're just reading a book somewhere a million miles away from me.
It doesn't matter what people think at the end of the day, you do what you want to do.
The more that I'm exploring this artist-creator world, the more it's actually giving me the strength to realise I'm an artist and I'm allowed to have my perspective. But I'm also allowed to allow other people to have theirs. Without arguing. It's like, what's the guy's name? Is it Rolson?
Oh yeah, it's Martin.
He's one of my
same point today, essentially.
He said it last night as well at the gallery. We're part of the Republic of Artists. He's one of my favourite speakers that I've heard. He's very articulate. Brilliant. He's got character. I love him, and I think he likes me as well. So he was right last night when he said, "This is the Republic of Artists," and I'm in it. So you go through. I don't know how everybody else feels, but everybody has their little growing up identity crises. So it's like, people ask me all the time, what are you? You're a rapper. You when you come from my background as well, it's like, you're not gangster. It's like, I went through a phase of saying, all right, No, I'm not any of those things, but I am a man. But then when I realise what actually makes me feel good and affirmed in life, I am an artist. I'm a black man that makes comics and music and whatever, and I'm a human being, but that's not enough. I'm an artist. Do you know what I mean? That's this weekend's actually helped me nail that into the coffin.
It does that, doesn't it? It brings something out. It does when you just join. You have the same being creative. It's the same sort of thing. It gives you
if you ever forget who you are or what you are, the more you come out and start expressing yourself, you start talking to people start giving you... I came here, this is my first table, I came here with 8 of each book. I got 2 books for my own self. I'm leaving with 3.
Yeah, that's good.
And even people from walks of life that, in this life, I know I'm a black guy with dreads, tattoos and hoodie, so I live in London. I sit next to people on the tube. He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know who I am. Maybe there's a preconceived notion. But that same old guy, the old white guy with the hat, he's come over to me and he loves my work. Yeah. And I've gone over to him and he loves my work, and we're here we're all equal. Yeah. And I love that because it's like there is no pretenses. Yeah. And I hate pretentious people. Yeah. Literally, in all walks of life.
Welcome to yes.
But anyhow, I don't want to take up your time.
You're fine. So on Instagram, if you want to find you.
On Instagram, my company, my brand is called OLDB. That stands for Original, Lionheart, Die Hard, Branded. So it's OLDB Official. And that's where I really am. That's where, if you want to see what I do, my music, my artwork, and links to my books and stuff is on there. That's my shop at the moment until I build a website. But to be honest, the way Instagram works out, I don't really need a website.
If you understand it, it's a different
if you know how to use it. But at the same time, my work is on Amazon as well. And if you put my name, Dan Christie, Great British Bookshop, into Google, you'll find me. And I'm also, like I said, I'm on Soaring Penguin Press as well in the Breakthrough book. But just don't worry, you're going to see me anyway. I do a lot of stuff.
Brilliant. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Back.
Yeah, and thank you guys for, interviewing me. I look forward to hearing how stupid I sound.
So, before we go into Sunday, then let's just talk about COVID and how you felt in regards to the event, dealing with it, and you walking around, us walking around.
What, me, a personal perspective?
Personal perspective.
Okay.
Obviously, they had the clock tower, which is always a marketplace, essentially. It is free to anyone to enter, so you can't put strict rules down. There's no way of doing that. Thought Bubble have put strict rules down, but they're an entity event, in their own right. Yeah. So when you were wandering around, how did you feel?
Perfectly fine. I mean, for the opening event, I was a bit twitchy, so I wore a mask during that, but that was only because I was feeling a bit twitchy. And someone in front had a horrible cough. And that was what sent me over the edge. So I popped on a mask. But around the clock tower, it was obviously personal preference. Yeah. And a lot of the vendors were deciding if you went up with a mask, they popped a mask on, or they wore a mask, or they didn't wear a mask. Yeah. It was totally fine. There was doors open, obviously. There was a through breeze. So that's all good. And it just felt nice. It felt normal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It didn't enter my head at all. And I've kept a close eye on the COVID cases in Kendal afterwards, and it's been fine. It's gone down.
So it's not affected.
So it hasn't actually affected the area, just having everyone in.
And all the events, when you were sat down, you were sat down. It wasn't rammed. By the first night, probably. Yeah, and even then you sat with your family. And then the other events, everyone naturally distanced. I found that was quite a normal thing that we do now. So you sit in your own groups. People weren't really sitting next to each other. And that, again, perfectly fine. Yeah. No, I didn't feel uncomfortable at all. Felt safe. Yeah. There was a bit of an online debate. Few who sort of pointed out things who hadn't been there. But I think you just need to speak to the people who were there. Yeah. It felt safe. It didn't feel like... Yeah, and also you didn't see the fact that everyone was being tested all the time. No, all the guests and everybody. There was test kits everywhere. Yeah, certainly all the guests and the international guests. I believe there was a process for testing. When obviously you've got your legal testing coming to the country, and the process for testing from there. Yeah. Really fit in. Yeah. So it was fine. Yeah, it was perfectly fine. And I still wear masks in shops and stuff. So
I'm not one of these like, woo, everything's cool. I'm quite twitchy. So if I felt fine, then it was fine.
Yeah.
That's what I was, you know what I'm trying to say.
No, it was good. It was good. And obviously we didn't know how it was going to be, but
No. It is on your mind. You do think, this is your first big event type thing you've done for 2 years. And it's on your mind because that's how we're living nowadays. But no, I was quite happy. It felt fine.
So the Sunday morning then, we started with Martin Railson again. Perfect way to wake up.
Yeah.
On Sunday morning.
That's definitely a way to wake you up.
And this was done by Andrew Miles. It was essentially a chat about his life, the work, how he got into his work, the work he's done, and he had quite a lot of political funny stories.
He did.
Which and opinions and thoughts and things he's had to deal with.
Yeah,
it was funny but intriguing and interesting at the same time.
Yes, yeah, and obviously he read his poetry as well.
Yeah,
which we've gone and got the book and I've read it. So yeah, it was. He's a very intelligent, a very cynical man, which we all are.
But he knows how to say it.
Yeah.
And express, and he's honest and open. And
yeah. I mean, the best moment for me was when he put on the Bob Ross hair and decided that he would draw Boris out of mustard, dairy and ketchup.
I feel that was meant to have lasted longer, but he didn't plan. He just went for it. And
he just went for it. It was
2 minutes of
beautifulness.
If you look on our website, there is a video there. You can watch that particular 2 minutes
moment happen. Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah.
I feel like would have been good in an evening with a few drinks.
Oh, yes.
Or just listening to a chat.
Yeah.
Do a chat or something like that. That would be fun.
Well, he got his own cocktail named after him, didn't he?
He did.
In The Blind Bus Driver. So I expect that was quite a fun evening.
We then spent a bit of time in the clock tower seeing old friends. And
it was so nice catching up with people because we've missed out on that, haven't we?
Yeah.
So it was, nice seeing everyone.
So it was laid out slightly differently this year because they'd lost one of the rooms. If you've been before, to the left as you go in, it was extended to the back of the downstairs.
That's because it's a working council house. And they've obviously moved things because the South Leyland Council offices have closed down and they've moved into there. So they've got to have their bit. But so it was opened up upstairs, wasn't it?
Downstairs, yeah, that room extended towards the back.
Oh, yeah, it was downstairs. It was me always getting round the wrong way.
So downstairs, you had names like the Everington Brothers were down there. Rachel Smith was down there.
Yeah.
I think the cartoonists they were down there, and a load of other wonderful creators. And then upstairs, you had the whole, which I felt was a bit more buzzing because there was more.
It did feel
more stands
buzzing upstairs.
You also had the signings as well.
Yeah.
Upstairs.
Maybe that was it because you come in straight on Joe Latham, really.
It's purely because John Freeman was there.
It's the only reason.
As soon as you get John Freeman in a place, the buzz just goes mental.
It's his entourage. You know, he's got such a lot of people working for him. He goes into a place like the Queen.
John Freeman's like the Queen. But you, at his table, you got a couple of
lucky dips.
Blind lucky dips.
Yeah. For
Bezos
B7
buying comics
Media,
and you're not.
Wasn't it? I know. What did you come away with, Nikki? Well, you see, I was hoping, because, they produced Blake 7, I was hoping for some Blake 7 stuff for my dad for Christmas. I only got it. So he's got a book and a CD. I'm so happy. He's going to be buzzing. And he's broken his rib, bless him, so he can't move much.
So you're going to leave the prices on the back of the full RRP?
Oh, yeah. I've already told my mum that I want him in a lucky dip. Yeah, brilliant.
But no, it was good, like I say, just to see faces that we've not seen for many years.
Yeah.
So hope you enjoyed the interviews that we did. Wasn't too noisy in the background.
That's because it was buzzing.
And then to finish off, we went to the Arts of Creation Big Live Draw finale. Now, in previous years, we've had what I would call spectaculars.
Yep.
Musical events.
Yep.
They went complete opposite this year and essentially went
old school.
Just let them draw.
Yeah.
It was a bit of music of horror in the background, and they were just told to draw creations of horror.
They were given hints, weren't they? Like going to the doctor.
Yes.
And things like that. So, yeah, they were given like a broad thing to work within.
That's right. So we had Mia Borkland, Sean Phillips, Charlie Adlard, and Steve Yowell, all drawing away on the screen.
Yep.
You know what you're going to get with Sean and Charlie.
Yep.
Was there a zombie? Did he get away with not doing a zombie? I don't think he did a zombie. I might be wrong.
I can't remember that.
But no, it's...
That's bad, isn't it?
It was, enjoyable. It's nice listening to some music and just watching people.
I only guessed a couple of the music ones, though. Some of them were quite hard.
They were, well, if you've not seen the film, you ain't going to know it.
That's very true.
And you haven't seen... You find with horror movies, though, there's not many that have got specific themes.
Do you know, I've got the Halloween one going through my head.
Well,
now.
That's one of the few that really does. They're more just the dread mute underneath, you know.
That's true.
But yes, Halloween obviously does jump out. So,
sorry.
That's quite all right. Yeah. So let's wrap up the weekend then. So how did you find it? First time back at an event after a few years.
It was so good. I was so pleased with the amount of people that actually turned up. You know, there's faith in the eventing like that starting up again.
It felt busier.
Do you think?
Than
you did say that, but is that just because we are not used to it?
No, it felt that I mean, it may be because there was less events. They all felt numerous. They felt busy. I mean, look at the Martin Relson one. That was well packed.
Yeah.
That
person brought a dog in.
Yes.
Do you remember? They had a dog under their anorak. They just came in with a dog. Sorry.
That's quite all right.
I mean, who brings a dog in? Anyway, and children. That's all that made me die.
I wasn't even going to go there. Yeah, why do you bring under 10s to a Martin Relson event? He ain't going to hold back the language, let's be honest. And some of the imagery that was put up when they were talking about pieces of his work. But anyway, not for kids.
Yeah. I mean, it is warned on the thing. But a dog!
But no, the events I did feel, there was more than enough people in the events. Busier than there have been in previous years, I felt.
And the clock tower, again, you're bringing in local people and people just coming in to just do the clock tower part of it. And that was busy. I'm not sure how busy it was compared to other years, but
people said they sold. They were selling. Yeah. That's what matters. It's hard to judge.
Yeah.
But they were
busy,
selling.
and it like I say, it wasn't jam-packed because I think people wouldn't have gone if it was jam-packed, to be fair. But it was nice to see that friendly buzz of normality coming back to us slowly. And I think it was a happy time.
People mentioned before, it is probably one of the few events where you can go to the pub at night and chat to your favourite creators, or at least see them along, just stood next to you.
Yeah, spy them.
Spy on them.
Look who's over there.
Yeah,
you're going to talk to them?
No. Let's be honest, they don't want you to. They want to have the pint and chat to their own friends.
Yeah.
But no, it's just the fact you can do that makes this event so much different.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different kind. You won't ever go to an event like it.
Now, something they did say as they closed the show was changes are afoot.
Yes, they did actually, didn't they, in the closing bit?
Now, I'd love to come here now and give you sneak peeks of what's coming and what's going on, but we don't actually know ourselves, so we can't actually even pretend or lie or do any of that.
We can't do nothing.
But something is in the midst to change it up a bit. I'm not sure in what way or how, but there's something going on.
As soon as we know and can tell you, we will. But we know nothing.
We know nothing. I'm intrigued. I can't even think.
No, I don't know.
What they could do to make it different.
We will find out next year.
So, thank you to the team who put on the event.
Yes.
Wonderful as always, even in the COVID years.
Yeah, I know.
COVID times.
Yeah, it did really well considering all the extra pressures you've got arranging this.
And having guests
COVID.
having to cancel this, that and the other, and then bringing new guests in and still getting a lot of international people over from Europe and so forth. So, well planned.
It really lives up to its international name.
Yes, that is something it does do. So, podcast-wise, let's talk about the podcast a little bit.
Oh, go on then. Right there, love. Your thing seems to be falling off.
We're coming up to episode 100, which we seem to have been coming up to for a long time because things just get COVID and stuff.
We've got to blame it forever. 8 years later, COVID.
Which we've got an idea that we've stolen from another podcast for episode 100.
Yeah.
Which we'll explain as we get to it.
I'm worried. But anyway. I might have to have a glass of wine before it.
And then episode 101 onwards is going to change slightly. We're splitting up.
That sounds wrong. I've had enough of you, Ian. I'm going solo.
Life does take over, so we realise that we're just struggling a little bit to get these out on the basis of 2 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
So we've decided that we're going to look at splitting a show up. So there's our episodes, which will be the interviews or whatever we decide.
The ones,
and then
the non-highbrow episodes.
And then we're going to have Mike and Pete doing their
highbrow episodes
of comics, and we're going to split them up and probably release one of each month. That way, I imagine, is probably what it'll go down to.
Yeah.
So you're still probably getting two episodes a month, but they'll be slightly different.
Yeah.
And it means that Mike and Pete can ramble to their heart's content without worrying about how long they're adding to an episode.
Oh my God, why are you doing this?
They can just go for
episode. It lasts a month.
So yeah, slight change up. That's coming down over the next few episodes.
Yeah. Madness.
No.
Yes. No. I wouldn't give them free rein. I would limit them to 15 minutes personally.
Something else which we're kind of stopping is I've always felt the need to put reviews in, and that's going to stop.
Yeah.
We are now not doing reviews as such.
Okay.
We will read.
I like the fact I find this out and these things. No, I knew.
We'll read comics and we can talk about them, but we're not doing reviews as such. So you're more than welcome to send your work over. We're not guaranteeing anything.
But
if we
like
read it and we want to talk about it, then
it will be on.
We will do such a thing.
Yeah.
But there'll be no formal reviews.
Would you say it was formal anyway?
Well, no, that's a problem because, and this is something that's been discussed so many times on other places. We never negative.
Nope.
Which means we're not reviewing.
That's true. But it's hard, isn't it?
It is hard because I'll happily sit and review a movie made by a big budget corporation and knock it to high heaven. But I feel
it's not
most
fair.
comic creators, unless you're reviewing Marvel or DC, you don't want to knock
no, of course not.
Their work because they've put so much into it for no money, essentially, in most cases.
Yeah, and sometimes
it feels
the book doesn't call to you, so that's fine as well.
So,
but if we read something we like it, we'll shout about it.
Yeah, we're only going to talk it about if we enjoy what we're talking about, but it's not going to be a review. So
no.
So yeah, but like I said,
I've read Joe Latham's third book.
Oh yes,
and it's amazing.
It was absolutely rubbish. Now,
Haru, don't be so horrid. Haru Part 3. Oh my God, how could he leave it like that? On the end of that, I was like, no, because what? Where are they? That's all I'm going to say. It's not a spoiler. Exactly. I was like, you can't do this to me, Joe. I mean, it's left, and I'm quite anxious about it now. I need to know what happens. You need to tell me, Joe.
You're probably going to go about 6 months. Oh no, he said it was coming up for Christmas with a Kickstarter, I think.
That's all right then.
Yeah, it's not too long.
Joe, tell me what happens.
Not too long.
Tell me, Joe.
If you're listening to this the week it's released, then and you're going to Thought Bubble, have a good time.
Have a lovely time.
Enjoy. Say hello to everybody.
Oh, everyone's there. We're not because we're a bit twitchy. That's why.
I don't know why. Just it's. We're also going to Harrogate the week after, so
we are doing that too. Yeah.
So that's more the point. So enjoy the Thought Bubble Festival.
Have fun, guys.
Have fun,
girls.
And we'll be back at some point soon with episode 100.
Again, worried. I mean, the fact that you brought a certain someone on this.
Tony Esmond.
He takes no prisoners.
Tony.
He takes no prisoners.
Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you for listening. Find out more about the festival at comicartfestival.com. Find out more about the show and how to contact us at comicartpodcast.uk. Find us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Music composed by Pop Noir.